Hi there, boys and girls. I've got our friends Mr. Caterpillar and Mr. Spider here for our fiction selection because we're going to be reading another Eric Carle book. Is it The Very Hungry Caterpillar, Mrs. Neve? No, we've already done that one. How about The Very Busy Spider? No, we've already done that one too. Today we're going to hear The Very Quiet Cricket.
Oh, sounds interesting. Hey, Mr. Carl put the word very in this title again.
He did. He seems to like that, doesn't he? We've got very right here, which is bing bing, a sight word. Very, put it right there. You know, the is a sight word too, isn't it? The very, and then quiet was even a sight word if you recall. There's, oops, I got to get my lowercase q so you can see it. Quiet. We'll put it there. Now, of course, the Q is capitalized there because it's part of the title of the book. The Very Quiet Cricket, and it's by Eric Carle.
Are there caterpillars in it, Mrs. Neve?
No, but there is an insect in the larva stage.
Oh, I'll be watching for that.
Mrs. Neve? Yes, Mr. Spider? Are there spiders in it? No, I'm afraid no spiders in this one. Oh, rats. Be a good sport, Mr. Spider. I will be. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Okay. There are no spiders, but there are a lot of different insects in the book. So as we're reading the book, it will help us remember some of the insects that we've learned about. Now, there's something else you'll notice about the book. Let's open it to the very first page at the beginning of the story. We've got a picture here of a big cricket and a little cricket. Now, it's not that, they're different kinds of cricket and one is just larger than the other. This is supposed to be an older cricket, and this is a young cricket that hasn't grown all the way up yet. Now, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, Mrs. Neve, shouldn't he look like a caterpillar or a worm or something to be in the larva stage? He looks pretty much just like a little cricket, a little one of him. That's because crickets have a different life cycle than most insects. Remember back when we were learning about insect life cycles, we said most insects go through the 4-stage life cycle. Egg, larva, pupa, and then adult. And we call that metamorphosis. But there are some insects that don't go through the 4-stage life cycle. They go through a 3-stage life cycle, and scientists call that incomplete metamorphosis. Let me show you. I've got a diagram on the phone here. First of all, just take a look at a photograph of a cricket. There you go, so you can see what actual cricket looks like. And then we've got the cricket life cycle here showing incomplete metamorphosis. Now, here's your adult cricket up here. It is going to lay an egg. They are oviparous, just like other insects. But the egg is not going to hatch into the larva stage, be it like a caterpillar or a grub or something. It's going to be, whoops, make sure that stays lit for you, one they call a nymph. Stage 2 of the cricket life cycle, incomplete metamorphosis, is called a nymph. And the nymph looks kind of like the adult bug, a little bit different, but pretty close. Now, it still has some growing and developing to do. In fact, it's going to molt several times, just like the larvae do, like the caterpillar will, get too big for its skin and crawl out of the skin and has new skin underneath and it's a little bigger, and that keeps happening until it goes into the pupa stage. The same thing will happen to the nymph. It will get too big for its skin, it will molt, come out, and they'll do that several times until it grows up to be the adult insect, cricket in this case, and that's stage 3. So, interesting. Incomplete metamorphosis. 3 stages in the life cycle. Crickets are one of the insects that do that. So we will see that in The Very Quiet Cricket. I suppose we could take our sight words off there now. And as we read the story, it is fiction. And like all fiction stories, it's going to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. So be watching for it. How does the story begin? What happens in the middle? How does it end? Now, we're not going to do a story wheel or a story map, but be thinking about it anyway. Okay, here we go. The Very Quiet Cricket. Let's find the title page. Here it is. We've got The Very Quiet Cricket. It's by Eric Carle. And on this side, he doesn't have a picture, but he does have some interesting information, true facts about crickets. It says there are 4,000 different kinds of crickets. That's amazing. Some live underground, others above. Some live in shrubs or trees, and some even live in the water. Both male and female crickets can hear, but only the male crickets can make a sound. So the female crickets, the girls, cannot make sounds, but the boys, the males, they can make sounds. By rubbing his wings together, he chirps. Some people say that it sounds like a song. Now, other people might say it just keeps them up at night because crickets are nocturnal. They're active at night, and if you have a cricket by your bedroom window and you hear that chirping all night, sometimes that's not a good thing. It can keep you up, right? Okay, well, let's read our fiction selection, The Very Quiet Cricket. Here's the beginning. One warm day, from a tiny egg, a little cricket was born. It's stage 2, the nymph stage. Welcome, chirped a big cricket, rubbing his wings together. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together. But nothing happened, not a sound. Good morning, whizzed a locust, spinning through the air. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened. Not a sound. Poor little guy. Well, here's your locust here. Remember, that's a kind of insect it's like a grasshopper. Remember the plague of locusts that God sent on Egypt when they wouldn't obey and let God's people go? Yeah, locusts. Farmers don't like them, destroy crops. Hello, whispered a praying mantis, scraping its huge front legs together. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened, not a sound. Oh, the praying mantis. Good morning, crunched a worm, munching his way out of an apple. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened. Not a sound. Dear. Now, Mr. Caterpillar, this is the insect in the larva stage we were talking about. It's not a worm. It is the larva of a moth in stage 2 of its 4-stage life cycle. Oh, fascinating, Mrs. Neve. Hi, bubbled a spittlebug, slurping in a sea of froth. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened. Not a sound. This could get frustrating. Good afternoon, screeched a cicada, clinging to a branch of a tree. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened. Not a sound. Well, here's a cicada. That is a kind of insect. We don't have them here. We had them down in Florida. They like the warmer weather. They can be really noisy. Yeah, you hear a bunch of cicadas up in the trees. Quite noisy. How are you? Hummed a bumblebee, flying from flower to flower. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but, nothing happened. Not a sound. Well, yes, we learned about bumblebees, didn't we? Speaking of this, bumblebee, spelling bee. Are you studying for that spelling test? Yeah. E-I-G-H-T, E-I-G-H-T, E-I-G-H-T. The spider has 8 Legos. 8. But back to the bumblebee. Our bumblebee is going from flower to flower, gathering nectar, getting the pollen spread around so the seeds can form for the plants. Yeah, okay. Our poor little cricket still hasn't made a sound. Good evening, whirred a dragonfly gliding above the water. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened. Not a sound. Poor guy. Now, I've always thought dragonflies were beautiful insects, and they also go through incomplete metamorphosis. They go from egg to nymph to adult. Good evening, buzzed the mosquitoes, dancing among the stars. The little cricket wanted to answer, so he rubbed his wings together, but nothing happened. Not a sound. So we've gone from morning to evening, and he's still not able to make a sound, huh? Mosquitoes, yeah. You don't invite them to the party. Definitely not. A Luna moth sailed quietly through the night, and the cricket enjoyed the stillness. Our Luna moth doesn't say anything. Very quiet, very still. Stillness can be good. We need that from time to time, don't we? God even talks about that. He says, "Be still and know that I am God." As the Luna moth disappeared silently into the distance, the cricket saw another cricket. She too was a very quiet cricket. Then he rubbed his wings together one more time, and this time, what do you think's going to happen? He chirped the most beautiful sound that she had ever heard. Aww. Our little cricket, he has finally been able to make a sound. Much to the delight of the female cricket, huh? Aw. And that is the ending of The Very Quiet Cricket. Wow. What a great book. Eric Carle is a wonderful author, isn't he? So, boys and girls, thanks for being good listeners. How did the story begin? Do you remember? Yes. It was in the morning. The cricket is born. He hatches from the egg into the nymph stage, right? And he sees the big cricket. So there's our beginning. What happens in the middle? Different insects come by, don't they? And they say hello to him in their different ways. He tries to say hello back with rubbing his wings together, but he can't make a sound. Comes across all these other insects. There's the spittlebug, the cicada, the bumblebee, the dragonfly, the mosquitoes, and then the Luna moth. I always thought they're so lovely. Did you know Luna means moon? Yeah. And of course moths are active at night. Remember, they have the feathery antenna, whereas butterflies just have the thread-like antenna. And then, finally, our little cricket meets another cricket and is able to rub his wings together and make that beautiful sound, and that's how it ends. Now, I did mention that we are not mapping out this story officially, but if you would like to, just for fun, I know some of you really enjoy artwork, if you would like to make your own story map of The Very Quiet Cricket, you certainly could. Just get a blank piece of paper. You could draw 3 sections on it, and then in one section put the beginning. In the middle section, put the end, put the middle, and then the third section, do the end. Let me grab my whiteboard. Let's say this is your piece of paper. To make your sections, you could just draw one line down there, not in the middle, but over to the left a little bit, and then another line a little bit to the right, I know my lines are a little wiggly. It's hard to do this holding it like this, but that would give you 3 sections, 1, 2, 3. In the first section, you could do the beginning of the story when, he's first hatches out of the egg and he's the nymph, and there's the big cricket too. In the middle section, you could draw the little cricket with a few of those insects that go by. And then the third section, you could do the ending of the story where he meets the female, the girl cricket, and then he can finally chirp. He can finally make a sound. So just an idea. We've got the long weekend ahead. If you're looking for something to do and you feel like drawing, that would be fun. Well, boys and girls, thanks again for being good listeners. And Mr. Caterpillar, thank you for being a good listener. Thank you, Mr. Spider, for being a good listener. And always remember, Jesus loves you. He does. Jesus loves you so much. God bless you, boys and girls.